I'm the professor, and this is an AI-generated avatar. Today what we're going to be discussing is how AI actually works. No jargon, no computer science degree required. Just you and me, and by the end of this, you're gonna get it. Here's what we're covering. First, what AI actually is, and more importantly, what it's not. Then, how a computer learns anything, because that part is genuinely fascinating. After that, how something like ChatGPT can sit there and write you an entire essay. And finally, what AI is really good at and where it completely falls on its face. Before we jump in, if you like having stuff explained to you like a normal human being, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Maybe the like button too while you're at it. It genuinely helps the channel. Alright, let's get into it. So, what is AI? There's so much noise out there. Half the internet thinks it's Skynet about to wipe us out. The other half thinks it's basically a spell checker with better marketing. Neither of those is right. Here's the simplest way I can put it. AI is pattern recognition, that's really all it is. It looks at a ton of information, finds the patterns hiding in there, and then uses those patterns to make predictions. That's the whole thing. And you already know how this works because your brain does it too. Think about when you were little. Nobody handed you a textbook that said, here is what a dog looks like. You just saw dogs, big ones, little ones, fluffy ones. And after a while your brain went, okay, I think I've got the pattern here. 4 legs, wet nose, tail that won't stop moving. That's a dog. AI does the exact same thing, it just uses math instead of a brain. You feed a computer 10 million pictures of dogs, and I mean 10 million, and it starts picking up on what makes a dog a dog. Then you show it a photo it's never seen before and it goes, yeah, that's a dog. Nobody told it the answer. It figured it out from the patterns. So that raises a pretty obvious question. How does a computer learn anything? Last time I checked, my laptop doesn't have a brain. It doesn't have eyes. It's basically a really fast calculator. So how do you teach a calculator to recognize a cat? The answer is something called a neural network. And I know that sounds intimidating, but stay with me. Picture a big web, like a spider web made out of tiny little math equations all connected to each other. You shove data in one side, it bounces through the web, and an answer pops out the other side. At the beginning, the answers are terrible, hilariously bad. You show it a picture of a cat and it goes, that's a toaster. Not even close, buddy. But every single time it gets something wrong, the network adjusts itself, tweaks those little math equations just a tiny bit. Then it tries again, gets it wrong, adjusts, tries again, wrong again, adjusts, over and over, millions of times. And slowly it starts getting better. 50% right, then 72, 89, 97. That process of getting a little bit better each time by tweaking the math, that's called training. That's how a computer learns. It fails its way to success. And when you hear that training AI costs hundreds of millions of dollars, this is why. Warehouses full of computers running day and night for months, chewing through billions of examples until the answers are actually useful. If this is making sense so far, drop me a comment. I read every single one. All right, let's keep moving. So recognizing a dog in a picture, fine. But how does something like ChatGPT write you a poem or have a whole conversation with you? That feels like a completely different thing. Turns out it's not. These are called large language models. Same idea. Pattern recognition. Just applied to words instead of pictures. You take billions of sentences, from books, websites, articles, basically the entire internet, and you train the AI to play one game. Given these words, what's the most likely next word? The cat sat on the what? The AI looks at all the patterns it learned and it goes, probably mat. Not because it knows what a cat is, not because it's ever sat on a mat, but because in the billions of sentences it's read, that's just what usually comes next. Now scale that up. Instead of predicting one word, it predicts the next one, and the next one, and the next one word at a time. Thousands of times in a row. That's how it writes a paragraph. That's how it writes an email. That's how it argues with you at 2 in the morning about whether a hot dog is a sandwich. It's the world's most sophisticated game of finish this sentence. Nobody programmed it to be creative. Nobody told it to be funny or persuasive. All of that emerged on its own. When you've absorbed the entire internet, you pick up a lot about how people talk. Okay, so what can AI actually do? And where does it completely fall apart? Most people get this wrong. Let's start with the good stuff. Pattern recognition, we covered that. Processing insane amounts of data in seconds. Generating text, images, code, music, and finding things a human would never catch. A doctor looking at 10,000 x-rays is going to miss some things. That's just human. An AI trained on 10 million X-rays spots things that save lives. That's not science fiction. That's happening right now. Doctors are catching cancer earlier. Scientists are finding new medicines faster. Real stuff, real impact. But AI doesn't understand anything. It doesn't know what a dog is. It doesn't know what truth is. It has no common sense. It's amazing at spotting patterns, but it has no idea what those patterns mean. That's why AI can write you a beautiful poem and then turn around and tell you 2 + 2 = 7. With complete confidence, it's not lying. It doesn't know what numbers are. It's just predicting the next word. And sometimes the pattern leads it off a cliff. People call those hallucinations. So when somebody tells you AI is going to replace all human thinking, no. And when somebody tells you it's just a fad, also no. It's a powerful tool, maybe the most powerful one we've ever built, but it's still a tool, and it's only as smart as the person using it. And that is the quick version of how AI works. I'm the professor. Now you know. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.